Hello everyone, my name is Chuck and you're watching episode 163 of Let's Plant. And due to all of the rains that we've been getting in the past few weeks, I've never had the chance to record because the ground was constantly wet and we only got our reprieve from the rain, I think, last Thursday. It is Saturday today. So yeah, I think I'm going to take advantage of this nice weather today, although it's quite windy, but yeah, we'll have a look around the garden and see what we could do. So the last time we were doing anything in the garden, we just finished working on this freestanding pergola and we have all of the ledges completely filled. Unfortunately, I never had the chance to work on some of the baskets because again, it was raining so much and I do not want to work on cuttings that are going to be constantly wet because they would just easily rot that way. Although we did manage to finish working on a couple of baskets before then, and we still have 4 more baskets to go. But apart from that, my plan was to continue working on the rest of the garden. Something that I've always wanted to do was to fill up the Philippines. Now, I've already gotten a lot of large Gibiflora hybrids, including those that are not necessarily Gibiflora, but they tend to go large or are frilly or have caruncles. So this is that spot here. And one thing that I really want to do is to fill up all of the bare spots with some ground cover. Now, as you can see, there's a bit of gap in front and around the sides. I think I'll not fill up the middle because I might still want to add some more of the large echeveria in between. So the plan is to fill up the whole front section with an assortment of ground cover plants and maybe some parts around the back. So in some of the future episodes, we're going to have a look around and see what we could use. The reason I wanted to fill up the gaps with some ground cover is mainly because of all of the rains that we're getting, especially now that we're getting close to winter. Here in Australia, we tend to get lots of rains during winter and towards the tail end. Well, in our case today, it has been raining a lot even during autumn. My goal is to fill up the bare areas that you see here with smaller plants. That way, there would be more roots, more plants pulling out water and moisture from the ground. And you might have guessed that that is another strategy that I am employing to help deal with all of the moisture. Right now, my echeveria are going dormant, which means that they are going to use less water this time. And the problem with that is this area might be more wet than usual, especially with all of the rains. Although I did make sure that this area drains properly and it is mounded, so water would be flowing away anyway and there's no chance of flooding. But still, there would be lots of trapped moisture between the plants, especially with them planted all together, all bunched up, which in turn means that there's a lot of trapped moisture due to the lack of airflow. Having them all together like this is an aesthetic decision on my part. In other words, this is my plan from the start, but now I have to get creative with my strategy on dealing with moisture, and that's what I came up with. So combining them with plants that tend to grow in slightly colder temperatures than the echeveria would be a good strategy for making sure that the area is not constantly wet. And just in case you haven't guessed what type of plants I'm going to use there, it's mostly going to be sedums or intergeneric hybrids involving sedums. And yeah, they tend to grow at lower temperatures. Given that it has been raining a lot for the past few weeks, I think my echeveria are doing just fine. They have been able to cope with all of the excess moisture and rains, but unfortunately the rains are still going to be more intense the closer we get to winter, and we've had a bunch of fungal outbreaks here and there. I've already removed some of the leaves, stuff like this. So I think I'll have to deal with it more proactively this time. There's 2 approaches to this. One is to use preemptive antifungals, and the other is to make sure that the plants in the area are using a lot of that water. As I mentioned at the start of this video, I wanted to have a look around the garden and see how my plants are doing. But before we go do that, let me just show off my shirt. So a lot of you enjoyed the shirt that I was wearing in the last episode, and I am working on a few designs. Those 2 are the ones that I've printed so far. Unfortunately, with the COVID situation, shipping has been really slow. I actually commissioned this to be done last March and they only arrived at the end of April. So yeah, several weeks. So I'm a bit hesitant about opening up the merch shop right now, but let me know if you want to get your own versions of this shirt and the other shirt, as well as some of the other designs that I'm about to put out, and I'll look into launching that merch store. So as I've been saying, it has been raining for the past few weeks, so the garden has been mostly neglected, and I've been mostly staying indoors working on my other projects, so I haven't had the chance to do much in the garden. Now, as some of you know, here in the southern hemisphere, we're currently towards the end of autumn. I think winter starts in a few days, and of course that comes with its own set of problems. Now, autumn or fall, for those of you in the US, you know that there's a lot of dead leaves, a lot of fallen leaves coming down from trees that are shedding. You could probably see one of those behind me. It has lost most of its leaves, and the problem with that is those leaves have to go somewhere. Unfortunately, I have the shelf filled with succulents right under that tree, and it is getting smothered by the dead leaves. And of course, that's a problem because all of those leaves would fall and smother the plants, which means that there's not going to be any airflow, there's lots of moisture being trapped, and a lot of fungus. So I woke up today seeing the very nice weather, and it made me want to do some gardening today. And then I remembered autumn, fallen leaves, fungus. So at first I was afraid. I was petrified. But then I went around to have a look at the plants, and they're not doing so bad. Some of them, of course, have fungal infections right now. Some of them have lost lots of leaves. But all in all, I think they're doing just fine. So I think we're in a good shape overall. There's a few issues that I have to address right now. Of course, the weeds, the fallen leaves, a lot of the dead leaves and dried leaves underneath the plants. And maybe I could even start planning my next landscapes. But before I do anything about it, I just want to quickly show you our veggie garden. This is not something new. We have always had vegetables growing this side of the garden. I just never show it that much because, again, my channel is a succulent channel, not a vegetable garden channel. It's just that a lot of viewers have been commenting about, why not use some of the space to grow some vegetables, and we already have them. Coincidentally, SoilWorx have let me know that they are now carrying this product. This is Lucene mulching pellets. For those of you who are not aware, Lucerne, which is pretty much known as alfalfa in other areas, it is a plant that's used as high energy feed for livestock, and as fertilizer, it provides a whole lot of nitrogen, phosphorus, and all of those minerals. So they make very great mulch. Just sprinkle them on top. Unfortunately, I can't use this on my succulent plants because most succulents are slow growers, and giving them too much nitrogen would force them to grow so quickly, so fast, and that would just make them elongate or even burn, and they would not be able to handle that. But as I've just shown you, we have a leafy vegetable garden and we have some flowering plants, so this is perfect. So thank you again, SoilWorx, for sending me this bag. We'll definitely put it to good use. If you're in Melbourne, you might want to check this out. They sell this 3-kilo bag for about $14.95, I think, less than $15. So yeah, but anyway, back to xeriscaping. Now, one of the things that I have to do, apart from cleaning up the whole thing, is removing the flower stalks. And the reason for that is there's still some pests that are active during the season despite the cold, and it's mostly just the aphids. We no longer have any of the mealybugs. We do still have some of the slugs and snails. No more vine weevils, thankfully. As far as pests are concerned, I'm not really worried as long as there's no mealybugs. So I tend to be lax or relaxed or lazy when it comes to dealing with the other pests. They do not do as much damage overall compared to mealybugs, at least in my garden. So it has taken me this long to address the issue, and let me just go grab my trusty secateurs and let's chop all of these flower stalks. So secateurs now in hand, let's go chopping. Yep, that's a lot of flower stalks. All of these are going into our green rubbish bin. Now, I know that a lot of you would be saying, hey Chuck, don't throw them away, you could still propagate from them. And To that, I would say, I know. I made a video about it. But yeah, there's a whole lot of them and I couldn't be bothered labeling each and every one of them. And I don't think I have the space for any new propagation plants or small plants. So I guess I'll just discard them and just wait for the next flower stalk harvest, which is around closer to summer, because usually these things flower when they come out of dormancy. So maybe I could do this again in spring or after summer. In either cases, at least it would be the growing period for my echeveria and pops would grow faster that way. Right now we are approaching winter and it would be quite a waste if I just have all of these flower stalks lying around waiting for pops to grow. So my decision is to discard them and try again in a more favorable season. With all of the flower stalks gone, I still have to deal with all of the weeds, as you could see right behind me. And there's a whole lot of them all around in the garden. Yeah, that's the side effect of having lots of rains here. It's going to take me a whole lot of time to pull all of them up, so I'll get started on that and I'll be back. I'm still in the middle of pulling up some weeds, but I just wanted to show this. You can clearly see lots of moss growing in the soil, and this is a clear indicator that it has been raining so much for the past few weeks. The soil is constantly damp, and having some ground cover right here would help with making sure that all of this water is going somewhere. Now, this is one of the reasons why I like using ground cover or mulch, because this covers a lot of the ground area and prevents weeds from growing in. As you can see, in areas where I have lots of plants, there's not much weeds, but as we move over towards this side, just the bare soil, there's lots of weeds. So is that bit where there's lots of rocks, because I have the rocks laid out loosely, and there's still lots of areas where some of the other weeds could grow. So yeah, this is one of the reasons why I prefer the fuller look. I know that some of the succulent landscape artists out there love doing, they have a motto of less is more. But for me, in my case, I guess more is more. And something I like about a loose succulent soil mix is that pulling out weeds is so easy, because they go out root and all. So having to do weeding is not a big task. It's something that, relatively easy with succulent soil. When weeding though, I tend to wait for the weeds to grow large, because if they are so tiny, they get so annoying pulling them up one by one. If there's a huge clump of them like this one, it's easier to get a hold of the whole thing. And yeah, it makes it a lot easier that way. I normally do not do weeding as much as this, but it is currently the rainy season, and during the rainy season there's not much chance for the soil to dry out. Otherwise, if it was not rainy, then what I would do is just to leave the soil, let them dry out. The succulents would survive, but the weeds would die out, and that's my general strategy for dealing with weeds. Half an hour later, and this is what I've got. Now, the garden looks a bit prettier with all of the weeds gone. Well, most of the weeds gone. I still have a lot of the smaller ones still growing, and I'm just leaving them alone for now, because it's a pain pulling them out one by one. But if they grow bigger, it would be a lot easier for me to pick them out, so I'll just wait till then. Yep, I mentioned fallen leaves. There's a lot of them here, and I just have to make sure to clear them out before they start decomposing and cause further problems to some of my plants. Yeah, sites like these are pretty common when other trees start shedding. So I've already removed lots of the fallen leaves, and if you look between the pots, there's still lots of them here. So you could probably imagine that I came here only to find it looking something like that, and I had to remove all of the leaves on top of it. And further to that, I also had to remove some of the leaves that have already rotten. And yeah, that's something that I have to deal with every year. So I think it's about time that I added some sort of netting on top, just to prevent the leaves from falling over. And I do not wish to use my shade cloth, because that would reduce the intensity of the light. Rather, I just want something mechanical, something that would prevent leaves as large as these from falling over the plants. So I guess some bird net would be enough. With those leaves taken care of, there's one more thing that I want to show you. So I bought this indoor digital timer which allows me to set a time to let some sort of appliance run. And of course I got that for my grow lights, which I received sometime during summer or late spring. It was sent to me by Mars Hydro. It is a Mars Hydro TS1000W. I wasn't able to use it yet because I had no reason to. It was summer, we had heat waves, and additional heat might make the plants die. But now that it is starting to get quite cold, we are approaching winter. I think a few days from now is the official start of winter in Australia. So I think it's about time that I start playing with my grow lights. I just have to figure out a place where I should set this up, and maybe in the next few episodes I'll be showing you my progress with figuring out how this works and seeing how my plants would do with it. So again, Mars Hydro, thank you for this grow lights, and I'm looking forward to start playing with this. Yeah, I'll be dealing with all of this junk off camera. I'll be sparing you all of the menial tasks of just dumping them in the bin. But apart from that, I have decided that in the next few episodes I'll be working on the Philippines and filling it up with some ground cover, just to make sure that, you know, I would be ready for the eventual flooding, consecutive rains that would happen. It happens every winter, but it seems to be going on early now. So yeah, that's going on next episode. So if you don't want to miss out on any of that, make sure to subscribe, give a like if you enjoyed the video, and I think in the next episode I'll be tackling one of the topics that my friends from the Northern Hemisphere are asking me about recently, and that's about dealing with heat in summer. So yeah, I might work on one in the next few episodes. So make sure to watch out for further videos. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.